Okay, hereby, today is Thursday, 5:32 PM. We're going to start the Planning and Zoning Board Commission today. We'll first start off, call to order now. We're going to first start with the invocation. Would you please stand? And Mr. Garrett, sir, would you please, invocation?
Dear Heavenly Father, as we're here today, please have control our thoughts and our emotions and our words, and continue to allow us to do those things that that in your word, and your knowledge that are best for the city. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we're going to move on the agenda. It's, we're going to hear from, we have any visitors? Hear from the visitors? Anything in regards to not being on the agenda today? Any remarks? Nobody? Okay. Now, today, also on the agenda, we're going to have we're going to swear in two new members. I believe one's not here. We just have Ms. Kimberly Cheney, right? Correct?
Kimberly Cheney.
We're going to swear her in today.
Do I
Raise your right hand.
raise my right hand?
Yeah, I'll just read it, and then you can either swear or affirm at the end.
Oh, okay, so I don't have to repeat it.
No.
Okay, wonderful.
I, Kimberly Cheney, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Commissioner for the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and of this state and the charter and ordinances of this city. And I furthermore pledge that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, or promised to pay, contributed, nor promised to contribute any money or valuable thing, or promised any public office or employment as a reward for the giving or withholding a vote for which I am appointed, to secure my appointment. So help me God.
I agree.
You swear.
I swear, yes. Whatever words I'm, yes.
I will just sign.
Okay, let me sign. Thank you. Is that all you need? Awesome, thank you.
You want to be sworn in?
I do. Absolutely.
I'll ask you to do the same thing.
All righty.
If you'll just stand and raise your right hand, and I'll read, and then you can just say at the end, I swear.
Okay.
I, Susan Barcella,
I, Susan Barcella,
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Commissioner for the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Terrell, State of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and of this state and the charter and ordinances of this city. And I further solemnly swear or affirm that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, or promised to pay, contributed, nor promised to contribute any money or valuable thing, or promised any public office as a reward to secure my appointment. So help me God. Do you
I
swear?
swear.
Okay. If you'll sign.
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. Appreciate our coming to the board, and hope we enjoy the time here. All righty then. As we continue next on agenda, we're going to discuss the approval of the minutes from May 25, 2023. Do I have a motion on that?
I move that we approve the minutes for May 25th, 2023.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a second. Minutes from May 2023, May 25th, 2023 have been approved. Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. We're going to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a zone change from commercial C to townhouse residential, TH12. Property is located at 109, 115, and 201 Della Street, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, ZC 23-04. Okay, do I have any questions? Okay, do we have any from the, here in regards to, has any question in regards or approval for, or not approval, but opposed or for this? Nobody?
There's a lady sitting right out there.
Oh, come on, ma'am. Sorry about that. Didn't see your hand. I apologize. Go ahead and state your name for the board, please, ma'am.
Laura Cunningham. My husband is Bill Cunningham. We have lived at 719 East Nash for 25 plus years, maybe. We just paid off our house. Literally, the 1st of June, I paid it off. And then I get this in the mail saying, surprise, we're doing something to the street. And Bill he had a stroke a year and a half ago. He's totally incapacitated. Wheelchair, diapers, feeding tube, everything. Can't talk. And so he does not want to have to move. He understands what we're saying, but he can't speak. He can say yes and no, and that's about it. So it's playing a lot of charades at our house. And he does not want to move, but I don't know how this is going to affect us. I don't know how it's going to, change our living. Right now, we have the junkyard right up next to our house. It's my understanding that was grandfathered in, and now I believe somebody else bought all that property. I don't know if that junkyard is still grandfathered in or what. I was told that it was supposed to have a fence completely around it, a privacy fence. It has never had that. I don't know what's going to happen with that, if the junkyard is staying, if it's leaving, if the new people are putting privacy fences up, if there's going to be, how far back these townhomes are coming. Basically, we're against it just because, I don't know if it's Section 8, I don't know. There's so much that we don't know. I don't want people out there loitering. Right now, we have a somewhat quiet neighborhood, except when our guy behind us decides to pop fireworks. I think I have that under control, though, but there's just a lot that we don't know. Tom, the former owner of all that land, he has knowingly raised his land about that much higher. Every bit of it, from Della Street all the way to our house, including the junkyard. So that makes his land that much higher than our land. Every time it rains, our yard floods, then the water goes out onto East Nash. It has put a hole under the road. There's erosion under East Nash Street because of Tom. To me, that should have already been addressed. It hasn't been. I don't know if y'all are doing all your surveys or whatever, but the road issue needs to be addressed if we're going to have more traffic coming up and down our road. There's an actual hole where our yard drains out onto Nash Street. He also took out every bit of the drainage ditching. He covered it up in concrete, and so there's all of this property that you're talking about was Tom, the radiator man. I don't know his last name. It was all his property. He died in February of last year, I believe, and so I don't know why the city allowed him to do that. It has been complained against, but it was just kind of washed over, whatever. But yeah, the road, as far as draining, there's a lot of flooding that goes on, and it starts at my property and then goes on down towards the church. My neighbor is here. Anyway, it's just a lot of unknowns, and I think a lot of that does rightfully need to be addressed. It should not be flooding like it is. There's proof of him raising it besides just standing in my yard and seeing how much higher it is. If you go look at his chain link fences, they're underground about that much. And the actual fence that sticks out is a whole lot shorter than what the height of a real chain link fence would be. It's a lot lower. To me, that should be addressed. It's obvious that he has raised that land up And when doing so, he created a big erosion problem.
I have a question.
Uh-huh,
Can you see that map up there?
uh-huh.
Where is your property on that map?
Hold on. Okay. One more, you're on the junkyard right now, that's my land, the big lot, that's us, because we have like a double property, a double lot, they said. And so that skinny one that's between us and him, that is the junkyard. He has raised that up substantially, but all the land, all that red and green, all the way to Dallas, he has raised it up. If you drive down Nash Street, from Dallas towards my house, you can see the land just go like this. It gets higher and higher. And then he has his fence. He has the fence that goes all the way, like from Dallas, you would not be able to see it. And then he goes the front of Nash Street, you can't see it. He goes halfway down the property line that he and I both share, and then there's nothing in the back. He has a big dumpster, like those pod dumpsters or whatever that you can order and just bring in. You know, he has this huge dumpster thing in his yard that blocks off people from coming into his yard right now. But in the past, that's been, I don't know, he brought in more trash recently, whoever he is, because I don't know if it's Tom's family. Tom's family came and got some of the cars out, but there's still a lot more junk over there, and now there's more junk. And yeah, our yard doesn't look the best, but it's certainly not like that. And I get it, he's been grandfathered in. He's had people live there, vagrant people that had no home. He had them live there and stuff. They were in the middle of summer out burning fires. Don't know why, but they were kind of not all there. Like, we put up with a whole lot of stuff from them, and we just would tell Tom would correct it or whatever. We're not people that like to stir up trouble. And now that my husband is so totally incapacitated, we just want to live there. Like, we just want to enjoy the land and the property that we bought. I was fixing to save money, my house payment money, to start fixing up the house. Well, I don't know if I do that. Is this going to run into eminent domain where y'all are telling us we have to move? Like, I don't know what's in the works. There's only 3 houses on our street. We own ours, they own theirs. The third one that's closest to the church, I'm not sure if they own or they rent. In the past, it has been a rent house, but I don't know what it is right now with these people. So.
Okay, well, thank you, ma'am, for the information.
Okay.
Are you any questions for Ms.?
You said your neighbor's here also?
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you, sir? Which one of these properties are you?
I'm the one that's shrouded in trees next to that, right there.
There.
You're right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, which one are you?
Look at the screen there, Kimberly, on your screen in front of you.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Look at the cursor, and she's waving the cursor where the property is, this property is located.
We have anyone else want to speak? Okay, we're closing the public hearing. Next, we're going to go to action item 6.2, which is to discuss and consider ordinance 2991, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, amending Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell by changing the zoning classification of certain real property, more particularly described as part of Lot 4 and all of Lot 4C, Block 131, Moore and Nash, addition to the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, and also known as 109-115-120 Della Street, Terrell, Texas, from Commercial C to Townhome 12, TH-12, as shown on the plat attached hereto as Exhibit A and made a part of hereof for all purposes, providing the servability and providing an effective date. ZC 23-04. So technically, we just want to we're looking at converting it from a commercial to a townhome. It's rezoning.
I have a question for the lady that was speaking. Ma'am, right now it's a commercial space, right? So you said there's junk cars and things like that there. So my question for you is, are you saying that for you, you'd rather that stay there than for it to be townhomes?
Normally, I would say no, but if that prevents any hoodlum type, I don't know what type of people are gonna be moving in. I don't know who monitors the people. I don't know if they're gonna be Section 8. Normally, Section 8 people are lower class people that move in and out because they don't pay their rent, so then they're gone in 2 months, and they just leave all their furniture laying around. I don't want anyone invading my property and coming in and stealing from us. So if that were the case, if we had the bad clientele coming to these townhomes, then yeah, I'd rather the junkyard stay there. I just want it fenced off like it was originally supposed to be done.
But we don't have a crystal ball here, so we can't really say what's gonna happen with the townhouses that are being built. The question is, would you rather have the junkyard stay there and everything that comes along with that? Or are you saying you'd rather have the junkyard and everything that comes along with it than another residence? I mean, not knowing anything about it.
Calling for, apparently, if it's already grandfathered in and the property's sold, I don't understand why it's still safe. Yes? Like, you raised your hand, like.
So,
Well, let me do some clarification real quick, okay? The first item here, this property that we're talking about is, if you'll turn, Katie, if you'll go to page 13, this property right now is currently zoned commercial.
Correct.
Okay, the request is to take it from commercial to townhome status. So currently, right now, someone could come in and say, I want to put in a light neighborhood services type of facility, and it would be zoned for that, and go from there. What the request is to take it to townhome status, and then they build houses there, or small houses, or
Townhomes.
Quick question, the junkyard that the young lady was talking about, is that part of this, or is that a separate lot over here?
what's currently there.
I drove by there today, I didn't see any on the lots that we're talking about here. I didn't see any kind of junk cars in there on that lot, so I don't know if the junkyard was part of this, or is part of this, or is that on a different lot?
No, if it's part of these right there, then there's nothing there.
It's at the end of that, where those 3 properties are
Okay.
highlighted in blue. It's to the left of that, where that skinny property is.
Oh, okay.
That is the junkyard.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not what we're,
that's not
Correct.
what we're,
not what we're
Correct, so
doing.
that's not on the agenda
that's
tonight.
not- Yeah, so what we're talking about are those 3 areas in blue. And right now, that space is currently zoned, so everything that's colored pink is zoned commercial. And, you know, if you kind of want to know how all that plays out, you can go into the ordinance and you can actually look up it's actually section 29, page 137. It will tell you what is actually allowed in the commercial district. It also then will direct you to charts in the back that says whatever it can be. And so you can look to see, here's what the commercial will be. They're asking to rezone it to multifamily, which also has a set of requirements. It has density requirements and things like that. And so depending, it could be,
Well, it's not,
it may be, it's kind of, it's gonna be zoned something one way or the other.
So when y'all zone it to townhomes, you don't say, but no Section 8 or what? Because nobody wants Section 8 by their houses. If y'all had the option to have Section 8 by your house or not by your house, you would choose no, because of the type of people that it normally brings in. And my daughter has lived in Section 8. It's just.
Unfortunately, this board is not the one that decide who moves into a house. We're
We
just
can't determine
based
that.
on zone changes, so we can't regulate that, ma'am. So
yeah,
right now, we're just talking about changing this from commercial to,
townhome, well,
townhomes.
there's
But we can't
a different
regulate that.
term than multifamily, so those are 2 different things. I don't want to make those slang words be interchangeable. I want to keep it to what is in here in the book. The request is from commercial and
Resident.
Townhome.
change it to, from commercial to townhome 12.
And to answer your question, I would prefer to keep it, the junkyard there. I just want the fencing put up that was initially supposed to be part of that deal.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So the junkyard is between the properties that we're looking at and her property,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So the junkyard is not in this,
That's correct.
Right, that's not in the, not in the,
Got it, okay.
so did the guy own everything and is just selling those 3 tracks?
well, we don't know if they sold it or not. All we're doing is just basically, we gotta stay on task here. All we're basically is just voting on if we can go, convert it from commercial to townhome.
Yes.
Who the owner is and all that, to be honest with you, it's not viable for us right now, you know. In that area, to be honest with you, we do need more homes. I personally, know that whole area over there, drove by today. I think more homes is what we need instead of, anything commercial there. I mean, it's too close. We already have some right there in front by 80. I don't think we need any more, so, it's just my opinion. All that's gonna be addressed whenever they start developing. You can get with the city here, and they're gonna address all those issues, ma'am. When they start building out there, I'm pretty sure they're gonna, they have to have drainage issues, they have to have, all that's gonna be once they start building in that area. But that's a whole different, time, and not today, ma'am. Right? Okay, any other, yes,
You
ma'am?
can address that with the city later.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anything for the staff? Okay, do I hear a motion?
I would move that we approve the change from commercial to residential.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Okay, we're gonna now continue to action items. 7.1, and that's to discuss and consider a final plat for the High Point Acres Addition, Lot 23A and 23B, Block 23 being 2.244 acres of the ML Swing Survey, abstract number 502, City of Terrell, ETJ, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 6144 Quail Court. Sir?
Okay, committee, I come before you here with an applicant that is coming with a final plat. The property is in the ETJ, and the city of Terrell has no authority on the zoning. We just have the planning authority on this. The staff comes to recommending to approve this. Let me tell you a little bit more. If you look at the map there, we have this property that he has, and basically, if you'll go to the next slide, Katie, he's taking that plat and splitting it in half so he can put houses on there that are actually opposing, they'll face the streets. That is what this entails. So the staff recommends that this be approved. I have any questions if you may have.
Do we have any questions for staff?
Can you go back to the original one, the one previously? So everything around it is divided into smaller lots, if I'm understanding this correctly. But they don't, do they have to adhere to the city setbacks and things like that?
They already applied.
Okay.
There's a 35-foot, there's a 30-foot right-of-way on each side of the property. If you'll go to the right there,
Yeah.
you'll see the crosshatch, there's the right-of-way already, the setbacks in there.
Oh, gotcha. And then
So
side,
that's
are
all-
they matching the side setbacks for
Yes.
adjacent properties and all those things?
So whenever he goes to build, whatever he builds, then he'll have to apply and present his construction plans, and then we'll apply the setbacks at the time to make sure those are adhered to the standards of what we have. So this is just merely to establish, so he can put his boundaries and know where he needs to be. So basically, he's going for, he could only build one house on this lot, now he can build 2 houses.
Are there 2 houses currently?
No. So,
Just one big empty lot's what it is right now.
so this is what the request is for,
He just divided it into 2 separate lots. Any other questions? We have a motion?
I make a
Move
motion
that we
that
approve item 7.1.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? I have a second. Motion to approve item 7.1. Motion passes. Okay, action item 7.2. Discuss and consider a final plat for the Good Shepherd Edition lots 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A, Block 49, being a replat of 1, 2, 3, and 4, Block 49, original Town of Terrell, being 1.45 acres out of the William W. Rail Survey, abstract number 418, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 200 and 204 West College Street, 205 and 207 West Bryn Street, and 407 North Francis.
okay. Committee, I'd like to present to you, this is one similar to what we just did, a similar case. We do have someone that is like to speak on behalf of the Good Shepherd Edition here, Mr. Hal Richards, Judge Hal Richards, I say. And, but basically in a nutshell, this is very similar, that will combine the 6 lots, as you can see right there. And if you'll go to the next page, Katie, you'll see that they're actually broken up into 4 lots. So they're basically replatting. This will be the final plat from this. The staff approves for this recommendation for this. So I'd like to give the floor to Judge Hal Richards, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Hal Richards. I live at 4 Cartwright, and I am representing Good Shepherd Church here. First, I wouldn't want to miss a chance to thank you, Mr. Chairman, and other members of the Planning and Zoning Commission for your service to the city. Thank you very much. And also would like to thank Schaumburg and Polk. They have, their company is located here in Terrell, which is a thing of pride for me, and they have facilitated all this work for us. Really, there's 2 purposes in what we're asking. First, all of the property is owned by the church, so it doesn't involve other property owners. We don't really understand why some of the lines were drawn like they were, probably 100 years ago. What the church is hoping to do is to sell the house at 207 Bryn, and this redrawing these property lines makes that more practical. That building, that house is a really nice house. It has lots of potential, and the church really doesn't utilize it. And so we needed to do this replat in order to facilitate the sale of that house. And I'll be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
One of the lots, I guess it's, because I drove by there this morning, where the, I guess the playground is?
Yes.
You just dividing that into just a certain lot, or is there a reason why you didn't add it to the church down here at the bottom, or?
I think
or y'all
Frank
looking at-
Frank Stevens with Schaumburg and Polk can probably tell you the practicalities. He's here. He could probably explain the practicality. It's really kind of a surveying and trying to make sure the property is flexible for the future. You want to address that, Frank? I'm not a surveyor.
Well, my surveyor's not here. I'm an engineer at Schaumburg and Polk, and my RPLS couldn't make it here tonight. But I think the intent was to try to just simplify the layout there. And if you can show me where that, refresh my memory, where the playground is.
Right at the corner of Bryn and Francis. I believe it's lot 3A, if I see that, yes.
Okay.
Because I think that's a playground, the church's playground, or like a playground back there.
Yeah,
I think the short answer, Mr. Chairman, is we really couldn't see, based on what Schaumburg and Polk's input on that was, we really couldn't see any reason to to put those properties together. It just seemed to make more sense, more flexibility. The church certainly has no intention of selling that playground property. You know, it's right next door to the church and next door to the rectory where Father Ian lives now.
Okay. Well, that was one of my concerns, 'cause I didn't know if staff knew if in the future they were gonna sell that property, would it be wide enough to do anything with?
We have no intention of selling the property. We do intend to sell the house at
Right.
207 Brent, or that's the will of the church.
207.
So help me
Because we're not using that house.
understand a little bit, because I hear what you're saying. But help me understand, because when I look at the proposed replatting, what is changed, like, why couldn't you just sell that house outright? Are you trying to make a bigger lot?
The-
Like, what is?
The problem with, the way the lines were drawn, that, if we sold the property, the house at 207 without replatting it, that property line comes right up against, really, really close to the house that is the rectory where the priest lives. And it would have been really right on top of that house. And if we sold that house, we looked forward to the fact that somebody, I mean, you wouldn't, there's not a normal amount of spacing between those two
So
houses.
you're in effect making that lot narrower?
Yes,
Street frontage.
yes.
So let me ask you this question. Have you looked at the width of that? Because I do know that the city has requirements in terms of lot width
Yes.
and what you can do and all of those things.
Yes,
We-
that
we're
was
not putting
addressed,
someone in.
and really Schaumburg and Polk guided us through that whole process. But the replat is being done in such a way so that house can, you remember that we asked for that to be, that the rectory, the current rectory was zoned retail. We don't really know why that was, and the Planning and Zoning Commission changed that. And, so, yes, the lot is the proper size to allow it to be sold.
I see. And it's the house that is on the far end.
The far west side, it's the west property,
Yeah,
207 Bryn.
And then everything else remains part of the church.
Yeah, and again, all of this is all just internal line drawing, because it's all property that's owned by
Yeah,
the church.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Any other questions? Okay, so basically, that was just my only concern there. So if you have any other questions, do I hear a motion?
I motion that we approve the final plat for the Good Shepherd additions, lots 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. Block 49 being a replat of lots 1, 2, 3, and 4. Block 49, original town of Terrell, being 1.45 acres out of the William W. Rail Survey. Abstract number 418, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 200 and 204 West College Street, 205 and 207 West Bryn, and 407 North Francis.
Thank you, ma'am. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I second.
We have a second to approve action item 7.2. All those in favor say aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Okay, we're moving on to action item 7.3. Discuss and consider a final plat for the Highland Additions Lot 1, 2, and Lot 1, 2, and 3, Block 9, being a replat of 17, 18, 19, Block 9 being of .641 acres out of the Elizabeth Helmstetten Survey, Abstract 229, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 401 Chapel Street, or Chapel Street, Chapel Street, thank you. FM 23-14. Sir?
All righty. Committee, bring before you here, this applicant has 3 lots, and if you see on your screen there before you, currently these 3 lots are actually facing the Dixon Street. This item, individual is intending to rotate these basically into 3 lots, and instead of facing the Dixon Street, they'll actually face the Chapel Street. This had to develop a agreement. This agreement has already been approved by the city council at the last session. That agreement is inside your packet for you to review. So let me tell you kind of in a nutshell what's happening. Currently, those 3 lots that are facing Dixon's are actually 50 foot wide and are approximately 100 and some odd feet long. They're very long. So she's wanting to take these 3 lots, rotate them, and now 3 50-foot lots are going to go to 1 65-foot lot and 2 59-foot lots. And the houses are going to be 1,850 square feet, and they'll face the Chapel Street. And so this is a request for the final plat to be approved to make this adjustment. The reason why one is 65 foot is it is actually a corner lot, so they had to take into account the setbacks in that measurements there. So that's why there. So if you look through your packet, there's actually some renderings of what the houses are going to be proposed in this. If you'll go to page, one more. There you go. So there is somewhat of a rendering of what, page 46, Randy. So there you go. You'll see some renderings of what's being proposed on these houses in that area. So I'll take any questions.
One question I have, although I don't know that I want to get into aesthetics per se, but I've noticed, it seems as though context-wise, I guess it doesn't really matter, but there isn't any, I see the brick, nothing else around there's brick, I guess it doesn't really matter. Do we know if the plans, but I do know for single family and for residences, there are also kind of landscape requirements?
Oh, absolutely.
So, because there's a lot of existing trees.
So I just want to, what you see before you is the conceptual of what they're proposing, whatever. They'll have to actually bring construction drawings before us, and it'll have, include the sidewalks, all that type of information that is required when individuals buy new houses. At that time, we'll go in and evaluate the setbacks, the driveway widths, the driveway connections, the water, sewer, utility main connections. So this...
Gotcha, this is just for idea, for concept.
Yeah, just to let them know what we're presenting and go from there. So they'll bring these finals, so it's going to be very similar to this. We'll work out to make sure the facade and all that, but that's really not what this is about. This is about plating,
So
not
what were the widths of those new lots? 65 by?
165 and 259s.
165, 65.
The corner lot will be 65 feet wide. The 2 lots going further to the east, I believe, will be 59 feet wide.
Gotcha.
Roughly, approximately, plus or minus a foot. Don't hold me to it, okay? But that gives you a concept. The 65, the reason why it's just not divided into 3 is because it's a corner lot. That's why.
And I assume those lot sizes are consistent with, say, what's in the neighborhood, roughly plus or minus, kind of?
These will actually be a small bit bigger.
Any other questions for staff? The Hellway area, it's, I've driven by there, actually I was there, this one driving by there too, it's, cleaned up pretty good over there. I mean, just having 3 more houses out there, going from 1 lot to 3 things in the, they're building a lot of houses in that area, it's real nice, so. Okay. Any other questions? None? Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the final plat for the Highland Additions, lots 1, 2, and 3, block 9, being a replat of lots 17, 18, 19, block 9 being 0.041 acres out of the Elizabeth Hamseton Survey, abstract number 229, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, also known as 401 Chapel Street.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. For action, passes for action 7.3 carries. Okay, our last and final one is, action item 7.4. That's to discuss and consider a final plat for Oak Valley Phase 3, 86 residential lots being 72.258 acres out of the Philip Walker Survey, abstract number 569, City of Oak Ridge, Kaufman County, Texas. Sir.
Okay. Committee, bring to you, final plat for the Oak Valley Phase 3, approximately 72 acres. This property, to get you oriented of where this is, if you look at the bottom of your map, that's basically South Highway 34. It's on the south side of I-20 and the Oak Ridge Alley. This is in the ETJ, so we have the platting authority behind this. This is the Phase 3 for this, and there is already an agreement in this portion here, along with a letter of credit, that future building of Wilson Road. This place, lot right here is estimated around 68 homes. If you look on page 55, they'll depict what they are conceptually bringing forward and proposing to do. So,
Did you say 68? I thought somewhere.
We're doing a lot out there. It looks good.
yeah.
I'm sorry, ma'am, what was your question?
I said I thought I heard 87 homes. So, but it's 67, 61?
They have on the application on the second page, it says 68, ma'am.
Thank you.
Look at an action item, they have 86 residential homes, I guess.
Yeah, on the action items?
Right.
It does.
Okay.
Oh, I guess it must just be flipped, maybe.
Think so. So it's 68.
So staff recommends approval for this final plat.
Any other questions for staff?
I don't know that I have questions, but I do have one comment. I know this isn't our place, but I do want to say it publicly. When I look at these plats and I looked at the Google Earth, I literally didn't see a single tree on a piece of property, and so I'm kind of curious about that. The one thing I would like folks to be mindful of, and I just want to say it aloud, I know we have no say, but there are neighbors to the west of the far property line, and when you go on their street and you go to Google Earth, there are a number of existing trees that truly block their view. And whoever is platting this, I would like for them to at least have some consideration of their neighbors next door. Because I know I would not appreciate if someone tore down a bunch of existing trees along the property line to put up a whole bunch of houses when I've lived out in the country my whole life, and had views of trees. And it looks like it is right up against the property line, so I don't know if those folks are here today, but I would like for them hopefully to be mindful of that as this moves forward.
Any other questions? Anything for staff? Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the final plat for the Oak Valley Phase 3, 68 residential lots being 72.25 acres, City of Oak Ridge, City of Terrell, ETJ, Kaufman County, Texas.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I hear a second? I have a second for action item 7.4. All those in favor say hey.
Hey.
Any nays? Action item 7.1 carries. Okay, that's